Hey everyone, welcome to a detailed, honest, and no-filter review of the new Warzone update and its integration with Black Ops 7. Ever since this update dropped, one of the biggest discussions in the entire Call of Duty community has been this: Warzone just isn't Warzone anymore. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Activision expects us to pay another $60 for some kind of premium fix update to address the current issues. Because let's be real, that wouldn't be out of character at all. But why is this happening? What has caused so many pro players, streamers, and longtime fans to become frustrated? And more importantly, where exactly is the problem? Today we're going to break everything down, precisely, analytically, and brutally. But before we start, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the upcoming videos. Thank you. Alright, let's jump in. The real problems behind Haven Hollow. Since the release of the new map, unfortunately the feedback has been largely negative. Remember Black Ops 6 and the Area 66 map? That map had similar problems, and eventually it was removed from the Resurgence rotation entirely. Now, if Treyarch wants Haven Hollow to stay, they'll have to introduce major changes in the next update. Otherwise, this map is also heading straight to the trash pile of forgotten Warzone maps. After a few hours of playing, I ended up with two conclusions. Personally, I actually like the map, but the issues it has will prevent it from satisfying players in the long run. For example, imagine you're trying to play ranked with friends, or want a more competitive experience in general. That's where the problems really show themselves, and eventually you'll just stop queuing up for Haven Hollow entirely. Map size and interior density. The first major issue in my opinion is the relatively small size of the map and the extremely dense, interconnected layout of the buildings. This results in very limited space for movement, and when you combine that with the fast movement style of the game, some gunfights become unnecessarily frustrating. Visually, the map also makes spotting enemies harder. The color palette leans toward yellows and greens, and the gas circle happens to have almost the exact same tones. Because of this, identifying enemies near the gas zone becomes difficult, especially in chaotic fights. Audio and environmental feedback problems. Environmental sounds, gunshots, footsteps, and directional cues, all of which are critical in any shooter, are not performing as they should. This alone is a massive blow to players who rely on accurate positioning, quick reaction time, and listening for enemy movement. Overall, when graphics, audio, and the general atmosphere take a hit, many of the core attractions of Warzone, like the sense of danger, surprise, tactics, and intensity, drop significantly. In my opinion, the final product not only fails to meet expectations, but in certain areas even feels like a downgrade. Visual quality, gameplay feel, and the overall flow are not at the level they should be. Now let me break down each of these issues more clearly. Higher TTK disrupts the flow. Another major problem, one that's noticeable across all Warzone modes, is the increased TTK. This has seriously damaged the sense of balance and flow in gunfights, and it's especially noticeable on Haven Hollow. A higher TTK also means reduced skill expression. Pro players can't rely on flicks, positioning, prediction, or precise movement the way they used to. Instead, fights become drawn out, awkward, and far less tactical. Movement system issues. The movement system carried over from BO6 into BO7, but now it feels even heavier. Slides are slower, transitions between actions, like standing, crouching, or going prone, are longer, and many players report a kind of input delay in movement. The core issue here is that Warzone relies on macro mobility, fast repositioning, large-scale movement. But BO7's system is focused on micro mobility, tight arena-style movement. Map design problems. As mentioned earlier, Haven Hollow is small and full of tight interiors. There's very little high ground and most of the map is filled with similar-looking buildings. What does this lead to? Blind hallways, exposed open fields, choke points with no alternative paths. From a design standpoint, this means the game constantly funnels players into the same predictable areas. encounter variety drops, and the gameplay flow becomes static instead of dynamic. Did Treyarch nerf aim assist? One of the biggest confirmed changes coming from Black Ops 7 into Warzone is the new aim assist behavior. Treyarch has officially stated that aim assist is being reevaluated and rebalanced based on data showing that controller players had too much of an advantage in close-range engagements. According to the developers, the strength of rotational aim assist now depends more on active right-stick movement, meaning you need to be physically tracking the target for the full aim assist power to kick in. This isn't speculation, it's directly from the dev communication. Player reactions, however, are split. Some users report that aiming feels noticeably off or weaker compared to the previous system, especially in rushed close quarters fights. Others say the new system feels more skill-based because you can't rely on aim assist to do all the tracking for you. This exact divide is reflected in early community feedback, with comment sections and Reddit threads filled with mixed opinions from both controller and mouse and keyboard players. Gunplay and weapon tuning. One of the most noticeable shifts after the integration of Black Ops 7 into Warzone is the way gunplay feels across all weapon classes. Several changes are officially documented by Treyarch and widely confirmed by player data. For example, BO7 weapons use horizontal-leaning recoil patterns, which is a deliberate design choice in the core multiplayer experience. When this recoil identity carried over into Warzone, many players immediately felt that their weapons were less predictable and harder to stabilize compared to previous Warzone metas. On top of that, developers confirmed adjustments to damage ranges, bullet velocity, and health values, all of which directly impact the time to kill. This isn't subjective. Warzone's base health and armor values were increased, making TTK naturally longer across the board. As a result, mid-range fights now require more sustained tracking and ammo commitment, something the community has repeatedly highlighted in early feedback threads. ARS, for example, feel noticeably weaker at medium distances unless they have very specific attachments, and SMGs often show excellent close-range potential but suffer from high recoil variance. This combination has created a perception that the current meta lacks the precision and clarity players were used to in earlier Warzone seasons. While gunplay isn't broken, many players believe Warzone has lost part of its unique shooting identity and now feels more like a BO7 sandbox transplanted into a larger map. That sentiment appears frequently in community discussions, especially from veteran players who preferred the tighter, more predictable recoil behavior of previous Warzone titles. Final verdict. It seems like the developers tried to boost appeal by increasing content, new map, new guns, new modes, BO7 integration, but at the same time, the technical quality, user experience, and core gameplay feel all took noticeable hits. For me, when a game as massive and iconic as Warzone receives this much negative feedback after an update, it means the things players truly care about, gameplay feel, balance, stability, were not the top priority. Haven Hollow can be fun if you're playing casually and just want some chaotic fun. But once you look at it from a competitive or analytical perspective, the flaws become loud enough that players start leaving. And honestly, we're already seeing that happen. Hopefully, the developers address these issues in the next update. If not, we'll probably see another round of player drop-off. Again. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and share it. Don't forget to leave a comment and subscribe. See you in the next one.